You gotta understand, Kanan, that how people see you now is how they're gonna see you forever.
How you want people to see you, Kanan?
I want them to see me as not who my mother is.
Gotta be real careful, Kanan. They ain't get to where they are without dropping a whole lot of bodies behind.
Oh, like how you got the way you are?
All right.
Look with your mother, kid, not you.
It seems like those of us in business with you are now being attacked.
It's one thing not to be able to trust my son. I can almost live with that. But I have to be able to trust my business partners. It's all about who you know.
It's all about money.
Just think I'm dead.
I'm getting mine. Here I am turning over.
I ain't never been more alive. Thank your lucky stars you got a mother who loves you.
To the left, I ain't tripping. Just watch your step.
If you want people to see you as you gotta let them know who you are. Famous last words.
What's up, ugly ass niggas? This your boy J Miles, and I am back with another video. And you know what to do. If you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, leave a like, comment. Let me know what you're thinking, but most importantly, make sure you share it with your ugly ass friends. On today's video, we will be covering Power Book 3, Raising Kanan. And this one right here is the episode 4 through 10 synopsis, breakdowns, and predictions. So basically in this particular video, I'll be giving the remainder of the, the remaining, 7 episodes synopsis, read them out, show them, and then basically I'll break them down one by one, giving my predictions on what I think will possibly happen in this particular episode, or in that particular episode. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into it. So as you know, we are currently on episode 4. So episode 4, titled The Way We Are, The Way We Were. I don't know, the way you are just automatically what came to my head, so I just said the shit. But yeah, the way we were. So it says Unique forms an unlikely alliance in his vendetta against Rock while she inches closer to a new drug enterprise. Kanan takes advice from Snaps and Pop, and Jukebox's new friendship leads to a violent encounter. Now, I kind of already touched on this one a little bit in my, early predictions video, but, I still give y'all a brief description of what I think will be going on here, and also final predictions will be coming shortly after this. But basically, it's what it's saying, Unique forms an unlikely alliance in his vendetta against Rock, while she inches closer to a new drug enterprise. We already know what that is. So basically, we already know 100% now. I already told y'all who it was when I looked at it. I told y'all that in the live shortly after the episode 3, when I always go live right after the episode. I told y'all that person he was talking to in the episode 3 trailer was Damon, more than likely, and absolutely 100%. Thanks to No Label to Label, we saw an exclusive clip. It is 100% Damon. So, and that was kind of, it wasn't rocket science. If you really know, your shit when it comes to this show, you kind of knew who it was, because the only person that made sense was Damon. He was once working with Rock, and Rock gave his business away to Unique, kind of, even though she had her reasoning for doing so, it didn't look that way to him. So, it looked like to him, Rock was just doing him dirty. And of course, Unique currently thinks she did him dirty. So there goes the connection, and they're going to form an alliance. And of course, we seen in the trailer, we seen them, we seen Unique and a crew hitting licks, robbing some of Rock's spots. And now we know that that Damon is, one of the people that has joined him. Now, as far as it's saying Rock inches closer to a new drug enterprise, well, we kind of know what that's going to be too. At the towards the middle-ish / end-ish of last episode, Rock sat down with Rakim, and Rakim told Rock and Marvin that if she's looking for a new supplier, then she should tap in with Tremont. Of course, Tremont was the guy in season 2 who messed Rock over, and she's looking to get some get back against him anyways. So it's gonna make it that much sweeter for her to move in on him, torture him, and ultimately take his plug from him. So I know a lot of people has been saying that they believe Phil Russo would be connected to Damon, and Damon will introduce Unique to him, but I don't know. You know, it's possible that maybe Phil Russo is Tremont's plug. Because think about this. You know, he said, Rakim said he won't supply any heroin in Queens. And we know that Tremont's old plug was Juliana, but Juliana is no longer here. So, with that being said, who is Tremont's current supplier? Clearly, you know, Rakim must have known that, you know, his cousin was her supply. He did know that. And if she's dead, he would have been like, you know, he would have never mentioned Tremont if, you know, he was somewhere starving. But apparently it seems like he's still doing well. So that means he has a plug. And if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember. Someone can let me know in the comments. I haven't did my research on this, but what area is Tremont currently at? Is he in the Jersey area? Because if so, Phil Russo could very much be his plug. And after, of course, Rock and Marvin kidnaps him and torture him, they end up taking over his plug, and that's how they get connected with, you know, Phil. Now, I'm not exactly sure how that would add up, because, you know, of course, Sal had beef with them, so would he potentially work with them? I don't really know. So that is one stain that, you know, I would have to get through. I mean, it could be possible that maybe Damon knows Phil Russo, but he's not directly working it for him. And then Unique finds out a way to go ahead and get him to play ball. Who knows? But we know it's going to be something that, you know, in that nature. And lastly, it says Kanan takes advice from Snaps and Pop, and Jukebox's new friendship leads to a violent encounter. Now, as far as, you know, Kanan taking advice from Snap and Pop, we already knew this was going to happen anyways. And as he's taking advice from them, we know Snap and Pop is going to be slowly but surely manipulating him and pulling him in closer so that they can groom him up to their liking, so they can take further advantage of him and them trying to take advantage of his youth, thinking that he doesn't know anything. But I can guarantee you this, that's going to come back on them. Kanan will find a way to light their ass up. Probably won't be this episode, I'm not saying that, but he's going to definitely light their ass up. And of course, Jukebox's friendship leads to a violent encounter. Two ways that this can go. Like I said, it could be her trying to hit a lick with her friends that she used to do the, you know, the stealing with. Some incident she's doing with them that goes wrong, or that new girl that she met at the bar last episode. She could be doing something with her, and then encounter happens, and it becomes violent. Now, getting how I live gave out a very interesting, you know, he put out a pretty interesting video stating that basically, you know, she could be, you know, maybe making out with the daughter, and then the husband comes over. I mean, I say husband, father or whatever comes and see them. And unlike Nicole's parents, this one becomes very violent. And he starts to hit her or whatever. And then Marvin pays a visit to her. And the guy may kind of find a way to get an upper hand on him. And then Juke ends up killing the guy. You know? So I think I found that very interesting. Hey, it could very much play out like that. But I can guarantee you that whatever this violent encounter is will come from either I forget, Twinlow, I think his name was, in the crew. If I'm saying it wrong, y'all glad niggas know who I'm talking about, and let me know what his name is again. Or it's that girl that she met last episode, and she's creating the issue. So one of the two, guarantee you that. But anyways, next. Episode 5, titled The Nail That Sticks Up. So, it says, Rock and Marvin navigate a dwindling supply of product, while Lou and Imani scout artists together. Joyce's condition worsens. Famous's mother desperately tries to find him. So, with that being said, Rock and Marvin navigate a dwindling supply of product. Basically, that's letting us know that they were able to successfully beat the shit out of Tremont and take over that nigga shit. It's that simple. They finessed that nigga, got you know, a new way, and then they probably found the way to, of course, push your boy Shang Tsung out. Whether that was killing him or, you know, and to me, Shang Tsung seemed like the type that's not gonna just, you know, go down and just move out of the way. Oh, you don't want to work with me no more? Cool, I'll find somebody else. He seems like the type that, oh, okay. So you think you're gonna, because he's already shown us last season that he doesn't like competition. So, with that being said, he's going to try to fight against Rock. If she goes to get another supplier and tries to, you know, continue to sell in Queens, in his mind, that's his territory. So he's going to try to push her out, and a war absolutely would break out. So if you ask me, he has to go in order for this operation to be successful. So Rock will indeed take him out probably the episode before this, or this episode here. So I think 4 or 5, your boy Shang Tsung is out of here. But anyways, they said, you know, it's gonna be looking like a win. You feel me? Like, of course it is a win currently, because, you know, they got a new plug and they got a good amount of supply, right? And then, of course, it says Lou and Imani scout. All right, together. So we know that Imani is going to turn out to be a producer, executive, or something like that Lou is going to meet, and she's also going to end up becoming his new love interest, right? So with that being said, it makes me wonder, is B Rilla still on this particular label, or has something happened to him? Is him and Lou still not cool anymore with each other? I'm a little curious of that. But I'll say this, I think he probably still around. It's possible that maybe they just cut ties with what's his name? Shoot, I forgot his name. Again. Laurel Garfield, whatever the fuck that is. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Jewish dude. Anyways, maybe B Rilla tried to rob that nigga and he ended up killing him or whatever. You know, robbery, something, homicide is nothing to play with. So he ended up finding a new person to sign under, and he found Imani. So that could be what all that is about. And like I've been saying, I still am going to hold on that Lou is going to end up finding out he got a son later on. It might not happen this season, it might happen next season, but that shit's gonna happen. But anyways, Joyce's condition worsens. So basically, your girl grandma Joyce is not doing well, and she doesn't have long to go. And you can tell by them saying her condition worsens. So more than likely, she's gonna die this episode. If not this episode, I can guarantee you it's the next one. So she's not gonna be here much longer. My thing is, I hope, Rock and her can finally make things up before she goes. I really hope she does that. And we'll also be on the lookout, like I told y'all in one of my other videos, if Grandma Joyce and Marvin have a really good last intellectual, emotional conversation at the end, with her telling Marvin to make sure he takes care of the rest of the family. Marvin's dying this season. I'm gonna make that, like I told y'all, because it's just, to me, it's just, at that point it'll just be the writing on the wall. But anyways, Famous's mother desperately tries to find him. So it says Famous mother desperately tries to find him. I think since he's going to be missing for a while, and I think that's confirmation that more than likely Famous didn't leave to go to California like certain people have been suggesting. It absolutely means that he's actually missing. And in my opinion, I think he's dead. I've been saying this for a while now. He's dead, and they just haven't discovered a body. And there is a reason why they haven't discovered a body, but I will talk about that in another video. But yeah, I think since he's going to be missing for months now, and no one has heard from him, she's going to probably call Kanan, call his sister Jessica. Everyone's going to be like, even Famous other friends, no one's going to be hearing from her, and she's going to start to really fear for the worst, for the safety and whereabouts of her son. So she might she probably will go back to the police, but of course the police is going to be saying they don't know anything. And you don't be surprised if you see some missing persons signs or whatever being put out with Famous's face on it. Anyways, next, episode 6, The Price of Fame. So with that, the episode reads, Rock tries to overcome Marvin's poor judgment. Kanan recruits Jukebox to help him get justice for his friend. Unique assembles the final pieces of his plan. So with this, it says, let's go ahead and just cover the first part. Rock tries to overcome Marvin's poor judgment. What is Marvin's poor judgment? Well, I've been telling y'all since the beginning now that I believe Marvin killed Famous. I believe that is the poor judgment. I think he jumped into conclusion and just killed him without thinking about the consequences. But thinking about ever since this Gerald situation, Marvin has been moving more like his old self since the beginning and messing stuff up. Or I'm gonna say this: if it's not anything in dealing with Famous, it would be whatever the side missions he had going on with Stefano. But it's one of the two. I can about guarantee you that. Next, it says Kanan recruits Jukebox to help him get justice for his friend. So, in my opinion, this has to only be two people, because let's be real, throughout the entirety of this show, Famous Kanan really only had two friends, really. And that's Famous and D Wiz, and of course D Wiz is dead. So obviously they're not talking about D Wiz. Now, could he have met a new friend? More than likely, no. I would say that's pretty low. I mean, it was a few friends that he had in high school, but he didn't really hang out with them according to what we saw. So The only other option other than Famous that I can think of is possibly OC, but I don't think so because they talk about OC later on in the episode, in the later episodes. So more than likely they're different people. So this friend that he's talking about more than likely is Famous, which means they now know that Famous is dead. The problem is, how did they find out Famous is dead? You know what I'm saying? Like, did they find his body somewhere? Did they find, maybe somebody gave them some information telling that they saw what happened to him or something like that? But I'm thinking, I don't know. I want to say they found the body, but at the same time, I do have another theory that they may have didn't find the body. But anyways, something's going to happen that's going to be, given evidence that more than likely Famous won't be found because he is gone. So, and then the thing is, it's interesting, is Jukebox is going to also be with him. And if you can pay attention to the way Juke is moving here, I want to say more than likely that what Getting How I Live said is probably true, because she's looking like somebody who's caught a body already. She don't look like somebody that's just, hesitant to pull the trigger. She look like she's already done it, and she ain't got no problem doing it again. You feel me? So, yeah, that's that. And it says also, Unique assembles the final pieces of his plan. Now, what is the final pieces of Unique's plan? In my opinion, the final pieces of his plan would be to use OC, who he kidnapped, to lure in Kanan. That's my opinion. Now, after he lures in Kanan, he makes an alliance with Kanan, and in his mind, once he's gained, like they've been saying since season 1, sometimes if you can't get to the queen, you gotta go through the prince. So he used that logic and of course recruited and manipulated Kanan on his side, and now that will be the final piece to his puzzle. Next, we get to episode 7, titled Allow Me to Reintroduce Myself. My name is oh my bad, it's bad. Anyways, it reads, Unique and his soldiers assume control of the corners in Queens. So, leaving Rock and Marvin in desperate need of more answers and more product. Kanan searches for a missing OC. Yep, so that is what we have for episode 7, titled Allow Me to Reintroduce Myself. So, now, I'm going to go ahead and say this. I know that they said, we heard Unique say in the trailer for episode 4, I think it's time I introduce myself. I show my face up in this around this mother effer, right? We heard him say that. So a lot of people assume that, Unique is going to be showing his identity, letting folks know he's still alive this episode. But I told y'all that these trailers can be very manipulating. So in my opinion, I'm going to go ahead and say that more than likely he isn't speaking of showing himself in the streets of Queens. Maybe he's going on to Jersey, and maybe that's, he's doing some stuff down there, and he shows his face to somebody else that he knows. Maybe he went to a relative. Keep in mind, we did get information that Lamar Jackson's character E-Tone is going to be in the show, and I think it's next episode, if I'm not mistaken, right? So maybe he was somehow showing his face there to his family or something like that, but not necessarily over there to, you know, Queens, where Rock and all of his other enemies could know that he's still alive. That's my opinion, because I believe this is the episode they're going to find out he's still alive. And maybe, just maybe, people, they finally let us know that he's Breeze. That could happen, because I'm just saying, allow me to reintroduce myself. He reintroduced himself like, you know, he introducing himself again, coming back brand new. And then keep in mind, we seen him say in another promo, I want to look like I never left before. So, hey, he look like he never left before, but he comes back as you know, Unique is dead, but now he's Breeze. That, I don't know. That could be what's happening here. But anyway, let's go ahead and dive into this. It says Unique and his soldiers assume control of the corners in Queens. So that means this ugly ass nigga done did some damage. He done made some moves. He done built some soldiers, got an organization running, and now he has successfully taken over all of the corners in Queens. So now Rock has lost her corners. Some kind of way, you know, him and his crew, and of course with the element of surprise, that helped him out a lot, because now they had basically a ghost attacking them in the shadows, because they don't know exactly where is it coming from. And of course, also, I'm going to make another prediction. I would say probably around this time, early Tyler is going to be dead, because I think Unique is going to look at him as, you know, dead weight. Because think about it, he's going to be the only person that can kind of mess up his plan of you know, hiding his identity that he's alive. Even though it was early Tyler's idea for him to do that. But, you know, he's like, that's still loose end, and also probably is good, which is the reason he's gonna take him out, is that he's gonna find out that he's also doing business with Marvin, and then he's gonna be like, yeah, you either with me or you with them, and he gonna make the choice for them and put them down. Anyways, we seen him already in the promos. He's gonna rob Rock's spots. He's gonna probably take over a lot of the drugs. She's gonna lose her shipment, I feel like. And then after she loses the shipment, you know, those who got the supply, you know, they're gonna get the demand. So now that he's the one with all the product, he got the crew together already. They're gonna take over the corners, and they're gonna have all the drugs. Now Rock is gonna be somewhere looking stupid and vulnerable. But next it says, leaving Rock and Marvin in desperate needs of more answers and more product. So now Rock and Marvin got to make some moves, and fast, because they're out. Unique is in, and they don't have any corners currently. But you know, Rock ain't no hoe. She ain't gonna just back down. She gonna come up with something. The question is, what is it? I don't really know yet. Maybe if, you know, after I do some deep thinking, I'll be able to come up with a couple of, you know, theories and predictions on what I think Rock's plan, her counter will be. But yeah, on this episode, as you can see, Neat gonna take that shit over. And his next says, Kanan searches for a missing OC. So OC at this particular time is still gonna be missing. So I don't know. It almost made me question whether or not Unique is the one who Unique kidnapped him or not, or, you know, whether him and Kanan met yet. I'm very curious to figure out that part, to be honest with you. But Kanan's gonna be looking for OC at this moment, because of course, you know, OC was a very important asset to to Kanan's organization because he did the numbers for him. So yeah, of course he's gonna want him back. Who knows? Maybe Neat took him over and recruited him to be his person to run the numbers for him. And then maybe Kanan will kill him for disloyalty, but then later on, him and Neat team up. Who knows? But anyways, also, I'm sure y'all have noticed at the bottom, it's saying skip week, and then basically, April to 25th, 2025. So that means they're going to be skipping some time. I believe they're going to do a 2-week skip from what I saw, which is some bullshit. But typically, as we know, when they do that skip, that next episode is about to be fire. And typically, the biggest and baddest episodes is always 8 and 9. So this is a number 8 coming up. So next, we get to episode 8, titled Street Struck. So, and Sasha Penn wrote this one. So this one's probably a banger. So it says Rock goes on the offensive as Marvin and Lou attempted to contain the escalating situations. Jukebox joined the search for OC, while Kanan looks into his theory on what happened to Famous. All right, that is a lot if you ask me. So basically, it says Rock goes on the offensive, as I was just talking about in the last episode. We already knew that was going to happen anyway, though. Rock is not going to just go down without a fight. She's going to come up with a good strategic plan on how to counter this, and basically restore her organization. And Marvin and Lou, it says Marvin and Lou attempt to contain the escalating situations. So that means that Unique was ugly as hell. That man was so ugly that it had to get Lou involved. So Lou is already involved. Looks like Lou is gonna be maybe he's gonna be seeing everything that's going on, seeing Rock going through what she's going through. And you remember, he was talking about repaying Rock in episode 3, right? The episode we just watched. So after seeing his sister struggle like this, and figuring out also that Unique is still alive and damaging the family the way he's doing, that could be what leads to Lou getting back into the game. He's like, yeah, I'm not gonna let my sister and brother go down like that. 'Cause keep in mind, he owes both of them. So that might be what it is. He's like, yeah, the big bro and big sis need me. My music can wait. And he decides to, do some little work, get his hands a little dirty to make sure for the betterment of the family. Also, probably with the death of Joyce, he's going to want to be closer than ever to his siblings, right? So that's what I think it is. The reason why he's going to be, back working with them. And next, Jukebox joins the search for OC. So basically, in episode 8, OC is still missing. And Juke is going to be helping around to get him. So the only way I can see Juke helping out, for the search of OC, it's probably because, Kanan needs something. She's doing that solid for Kanan. But it also could mean that Juke has now also joined the game, but she's working with Kanan instead of her, instead of Rock and Marvin, which is a little crazy, but hey, what term of events could have possibly have happened? The reason Juke would choose to work with Kanan and not be with her father and Rock. Could it be that maybe Juke and Marvin had another incident? Who knows? But anyways, it says, while Kanan looks into his theory on what happened to Famous. So with them saying that, in my opinion, You gotta pay attention to the key words. It says, while Kanan looks into his theory on what happened to Famous. So basically, if you ask me, that means he is absolutely dead. But what I think is going to happen, because keep in mind on 406, it says Rock is trying to deal with Marvin's mistake, right? So, in my opinion, Rock helped cover it up because she knew that this was a very bad situation. So, after she covers it up, Kanan is going to notice something. She's gonna be like, nah, this don't feel right. Something is off. You know, I can see him noticing something, maybe judging by how Famous was something that how the death was happening or what they saying it happened that. Anything. I can't really 100% obviously point it out what it's gonna be, but I think it's gonna be something key that Famous that Kanan's gonna be like, yeah, something's off. I got a theory that somebody else is behind this, but I'm not exactly sure. So I need to find out. Juke, can you please help me out finding OC while I look into this? And she agreed to do so. So that's what I see the key points of that's going to be taking place here in episode 408. Next, we got 409 titled It's About That Time. Now that is interesting. You know what I'm saying? I just think the title now is interesting. It's about that time. So about what time, we glad niggas? I don't know. But anyway, let's read this synopsis. It says, Kanan, suspicious of Rock's involvement, investigates Crystal's disappearance. Rock faces fallout from Unique's retaliation and Marvin's mistake. Jukebox revisits her past and Lou embraces his new path. Interesting things, if you ask me. This one here is also written by Sasha Penn. Hold on, let me check the other ones real quick and see what yeah, them other ones weren't written. Hold on. So Sasha is in on this one too. The nail that sticks up. Him and Brian Walker co-wrote this one. But he didn't write 404. He didn't write 406 or 407. But he definitely wrote 408 and 409. Like I told y'all, those are typically the biggest episodes. So these are probably going to be our two, firecrackers. But anyways, let's deal with the first part. Kanan, suspicious of Rock's involvement, investigates Crystal's disappearance. So I actually already did a video on this. It was my latest video. If you guys haven't seen it yet, go back and take a look at it. It's because what I think is going to go on is that two things could have happened. Like I said, I think, me personally, that it's possible Rock is going to try to gain some control over Kanan or get some information or whatever, and something's going to go wrong. That, like I said, I can see her sending Juke over to possibly help her with Kanan or in certain situations, and Juke ends up killing Crystal. Or maybe something else happens and she kills Crystal and Rock's not even involved at all. But anyways, after something happens to Crystal, absolutely Kanan's gonna blame her for it. And in my opinion, I think it's gonna be the boy cried wolf situation, meaning, how, if you're familiar with the boy who cried wolf story, basically what was happening, the boy kept on lying to the people, crying, yelling out wolf, 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 scaring the people thinking that a wolf is coming to eat the cattle. But in actuality, no, the wolf wasn't coming. He was just playing a joke. And then one time the wolf actually was coming and he was crying out wolf, 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 wolf. but nobody moved the muscle because they like, nah, we're glad, nigga, you ain't about to get me this time. But in actuality, he was telling the truth. So basically, moral of the story, when you tell so many lies, you know, folks is gonna not believe you when you finally telling the truth. So that's what's gonna happen to Rock here. She's gonna finally be innocent and tell the truth about she doesn't have anything to do with the disappearance of Crystal. But of course, Kanan isn't going to believe her. Next, though, it says Rock faces fallout from Unique's retaliation and Marvin's mistake. So whatever it is that she put into place, in 408 to, you know, to have her counterattack, it's not going to work because, you know, Neek is going to be 3 moves ahead because he was ready for it. She was, you know, he's been plotting and making his moves for months now. She's just playing catch up. So also, I think the trump card that Unique could lay on her is the fact that he now has access to Rock's son, Kanan. So, you know, she's not going to do no full-blown, you know, retaliation, guns blazing type of situation if her son is involved. She's going to have to come up with a different way to handle the situation. And she's going to be hesitant. And when she hesitates, it might just be too late. The boy got balls. But anyways, the title is About That Time. So, what could be about that time? I'm curious. Could this be possibly the death of Rock? Or could this be the death of Marvin? I think that was more plausible. It's saying it's about that time. It's your time, Marvin. You up out of here, my boy. And I hope I'm wrong about this, bro. Because like I said, I like Marvin's character. But it says also after this, Jukebox revisits her past. So, what past could Juke be revisiting? Basically, they're saying that she's going to be revisiting something very familiar. Something that has happened to her before. Now, is this something that maybe has happened to Juke that we ourselves as the viewers hasn't seen on screen? Or could it be something that we've seen already? And if that's the case, let's look at what it could potentially be. We know that she had a girlfriend in season 1 named Nicole, and that girlfriend was tragically killed due to her smoking some bad crack, right? So that was a great loss for her. Also, we know in season 2, her mother, Kenya, was killed by the Italian mafia. Could it be that here in episode 409, the past that she's revisiting is a nightmare of when the Italians killed her mother, Kenya, but in this time, the Italians will kill her father, Marvin. Could this be what it is? I don't know. But I'm starting to feel the worst for your boy Marvin, because it's not looking too good if you ask me. But anyways, lastly, and it says, and Lou embraces his new path. Now, in my opinion, with Lou embracing his new path, it could be 2 things. In my opinion, because I believe with them saying that him embracing his new path, it could be that he's finally decided that, well, let me go ahead and give y'all the one that's gonna be the one that y'all gonna disagree with first. I'm not saying that's what's gonna happen here, but hey, I'm just throwing it out there. It could be a possibility. As these episodes float by, my percentages of me raising this happening might increase. But it could be that Lou find out he got that son, huh? Maybe. Alright, glad niggas. I know y'all don't believe me. But hey, more than likely what I think it probably is that he's going to be done with the music. I don't know if he's going to just break up with the girl that he was working with or what's going to be the deal with it. But I think after, after the situation that's been escalating, especially if Marvin dies, his new path that he will be embracing is to full on become part of the game. Like he's gonna, meet it head on. He's gonna be like, no second guessing. This is what I'm gonna be married to the guy because I have to avenge my brother. And this is what I know. This is what I've been good at. So hey, that could be what it is. Now for the final episode, episode 410, titled "Gimme the Weight." This one right here is also written by the showrunner Sasha Penn. So, "Gimme the Weight." It reads, a devastated Kanan fiercely searches for answers and revenge. Rock attempts to stave off the collapse of her business as she and Lou prepare for a possible war with Unique. Now, let's go ahead and go to the beginning like, I've been doing. A devastated Kanan furiously searches for answers and revenge. So basically, Kanan is going to be devastated because he's going to figure out something that's going to piss him the hell off. So what could this possibly be? Now keep in mind, I did just say I think it's a possibility that your boy, it's a possibility that your boy Marvin could be out of here. So could he possibly be furious about the death of his uncle? And he's looking for answers and revenge for that. Or could it be this? It could be the death of Famous and he finds out the real truth about what happened to him. Or, and hold on, let me stay on that real quick. So could it be that he finds out the actual truth of what happened with Famous and that's pissed him off? But I'm going to say this. If that's what it is, then more than likely it's possible that your boy Marvin could still be alive if he's the one that took Famous out, which it did indeed look like he was the one who did it, if that's what was taking place when we seen in that exclusive clip of someone pointing that gun to Famous' head, right? So if it is the issue with Famous, then the good news is it could be that more than likely Marvin could still be alive because maybe Marvin is the one that Kanan wants the revenge on. It sucks if that turns out to be the case, but hey, it could be. But also, keep in mind that it said last episode that Crystal is missing. So could it be that maybe he finds out that Crystal is dead as well? So that means Kanan's gonna be having a very hard motherfucking time. You know what I'm saying? Kanan gonna be hurt up out here. So could it be if Crystal does end up being taken out and it's by Juke, could it be that you see Kanan go up against his entire family? He's like, ain't none of y'all straight. Juke, I never thought you would betray me, but you did too. And then, of course he ain't got much love for his mama already because of the events that's been happening. So he's gonna be pissed off. Next it says Rock attempts to stave off the collapse of her business as she and Lou prepare for a possible war with Unique. Now, so basically her trying to hold off the collapse of her business, some pretty damaging things has occurred. So I think Unique then did some damage. I mean, we know that Unique did a lot of damage, but I'm curious of what it is actually it didn't happen. You know, the reason why this is crumb, it's kind of hard to really break this one down without, you know, knowing so much information. I'm pretty sure after I watch 409, this will make a whole lot more sense. But the part that I will address is the part where it's saying Lou prepare for a possible war with Unique. The key here for me is that it's saying a possible war. So is it possible that maybe some negotiation terms are gonna be, you know, offered? Or is it possible that maybe Unique is not their only enemy? Or maybe I could see the possible war could be because Kanan is also on Unique's side. So, you know, Rock is hesitant to go all out. So they're gonna have a negotiation terms set. But if in case that don't work, they're gonna go to war. Maybe similar to how we saw with Ghost trying to settle the war, stop the potential war between, you know, Tommy's organization and the Jimenez. So with that, shoot. I would say that possibly this episode 10 is probably the hardest one to break down. But hey, typically in Power, historically, they don't give you much information for the episode 10s because they don't want you to figure out exactly what's going on. So, you know, that's typical. But yeah, but it is crazy though. We got to point this out that, you know, they putting it out there that Lou prepared for a possible war with Unique and not Marvin. Like, that's a little crazy there, right? So the key is, so the point is, you know, the question is, what happened to Marvin? Is it possible that he's no longer among us? Is him and Rock no longer cool? Or is it possible that maybe they just leaving him out on purpose to lead us along? It could be either one. But anyways, that's pretty much all I got for y'all as far as this particular video. Now, I know this one was long. I got it today. But as y'all see, I had to go through all of them. Now, for all you lazy, ugly ass niggas that don't want to watch the whole long video, I know y'all ugly. I get it. I will chop it down for the ugly ass niggas that needs to see it episode by episode. Because y'all ugly like that. So, I do y'all solid with that. But anyways, though, definitely let me know what y'all think up in these comments about each episode. Could you see things playing out a little bit different from what I see it? Is it something that's in these descriptions that may be key, that triggers something that you noticed that I didn't notice? Share your own theories and predictions with me. And, you know, of course, like I always do, typically I'll do my best to, you know, address everyone in the comments. And, you know, I just think this one's going to be fun for all of us, you know, to sit here and try to break all of these down. So, who knows, I might do a live on this too later on. But anyways, though, like usual, if you're cool with me, fool with me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, leave a like, comment, let me know what you're thinking. But most importantly, make sure you share with your glad friends. Until the next video, I'm out.